So we are today trying to understand the GitHub actions. So I'm just going to go through it and try to understand with you. So we have this documentation. GitHub provides a good documentation. You can start with this wonderful uh, get started guide. You have the quick start. I'm not going to go through it. I'm just trying to understand the things. So let's jump in. GitHub Action is a continuous integration and continuous delivery platform that allows you to automate your build, test, and deployment pipeline. So basically, what you have to keep in mind is that it tries to automate your build, test, and deployment pipeline. Why we need is another thing that we have to ask ourselves. So when they say GitHub Action is a continuous integration and continuous delivery platform that allows you to automate your build, test, and deployment pipeline, we should think of like what if it's not there? So what if something is not there? Like if we don't automate the build or if we don't automate the test, what if we don't automate the deployment? We should for each push after pushing, we have to take that and we have to try manually build it. So basically you might have something like, I don't know, XAMPP server. You used when you are in your college days, you might have used it. So in order to test it again, like whether the tests are running properly in the whether the staging environment or the production, you should again think of it. So all these are going away with basically the continuous delivery and the continuous integration. You can create workflows that build and test every pull request to your repository, or deploy merge pull request to production, or deploy merge pull request to production. So whenever you have something, let's say you're writing a test case and it's going to fail in the production, you can automate it. You don't have to just go through it again. GitHub Actions goes beyond just DevOps. So basically, this continuous integration is kind of something related to DevOps and lets you run workflows when other events happen in your repository. For example, you can run a workflow automatically and add the appropriate labels whenever someone creates a new issue in your repository. So this happens basically in the open source code base that I watched. So so that's another use case, not just DevOps. You can even somebody when someone creates a issue, you can manually do something about it. GitHub provides Linux, Windows, and macOS virtual machines to run your workflows, or you can host your own self-hosted runners in your data center or cloud infrastructure. So not only Linux, you can of course use your on-premise database or on-premise server as well. The components of GitHub Actions. You can configure GitHub Action workflow to be triggered when an event occurs in your repository, such as pull request being opened or an issue being created. Your workflow contains one or more jobs which can run in sequential order or in parallel. Each job will run inside its own virtual machine runner or inside a container and has one or more steps that either run a script that you define or an action which which is a reusable extension that can simplify your workflow. Uh, Basically, I got lost here. Let me go through it quickly. Yeah, I'm really sorry. It happens. I try to keep that the serious tone, but somehow it always boils down to something really funny. So I think reading is kind of a boring thing. I wanted to make it really funny, but I can't come up with anything. I mean, like, what is GitHub Actions? Can I make fun of it? No, I don't want, because I have to deliver something in GitHub Actions tomorrow, and I don't want to make fun of it. Like, what if GitHub Action had some life to it? Like, it decided to like, hey, you made fun of me, and I'm not going to be available for you, something like that. And I am just coughing and I don't have, I have water with me. You can configure GitHub Actions workflow to be triggered when an event occurs in your repository, such as a pull request or opened, or pull request being opened, or an issue being created. Your workflow contains one or more jobs which can run in sequential or parallel order. Each job will run inside its own virtual machine runner. Okay, this is the part that I don't get. Like that, that is a huge thing, but it's like just put it outside. Like, hey, you know what? Each job will run inside its own virtual machine runner. What does it mean? Nobody knows. Or inside a container, or has one or more steps that either can run a script that you can define or an action. So, so why this is important, why this is a huge thing for me is like I always wrap my head around whenever somebody says like GitHub provides virtual machines for your workflows, right? I didn't know about it. Like, this is the first time that I hear about like, okay, GitHub provides virtual machines. I thought AWS and EC2, AWS, Azure, and GCP. Those are things that comes into mind. Or maybe some deep ocean. Sorry, is it called digital ocean? Yeah, probably. So when GitHub says, hey, you know what? GitHub provides this Linux, virtual machines for your workflows, and then if they are giving me a workflow, for example, I need to run my front end applications, which is 500 GB, not 500 GB, of course, 5 GB. What will happen to it? Like, I don't know how much they provide for these workflows. Like, what can I do with it? Like, how much of a virtual machines, how much of a space do you actually have? I don't know about it, but this should be highlighted. I mean, you know what? You have to say that, hey, by the way, GitHub provides Linux, these virtual machines, and then each job will run inside its own virtual machine runner or inside a container. Each job will run inside its own virtual machine runner or inside a container or has one or more steps that either run a script that you define or run an action. Each job will run inside its own virtual machine runner. Okay, so I just got distracted with someone yawning there. But again, each job will run inside its own virtual machine runner. Basically, the virtual machine, they are the hidden virtual machine, which actually doesn't have any information about it. Probably has somewhere on the reference maybe, or inside a container and has one of, okay, then you say like, hey, each job will run inside a virtual machine runner. Exactly, they're saying virtual machine, they gave it a name like virtual machine runner, or inside a container, like this or that. Like, guys, I don't know what happens. Like, this is this this thing is done by GitHub, right? And you are not sure, like, oh, a container, both, maybe there are two use case scenarios, maybe. Oh, they're saying a container which runs in a virtual machine, could be, yeah, could be, and has one or more steps that either run a script that you define or an action, uh, and has one or more steps that either run a script that you define, okay, container, and has one or steps that either run a script that you define or run an action which is a reusable extension that can simplify your workflow. So have they actually mentioned what is an action? Like, what could be an action? Like, GitHub action is like but what is exactly an action? Like, when they mention like one has steps, okay, I'm going here, run an action, run script. I know what's a script, I don't know what's an action. What do they mean by an action? Like, pull something, okay, I get it. Like, if action should be bear with me, I'm not that intelligent, I'm a bit dumb, a lot dumb. So when they mean by action, run action, maybe they are meaning a pull request or installing something, or like, I don't know, I really don't know why, what they actually mean by an action. What's the first mention of action here? Action, actions, GitHub actions, action, GitHub actions, GitHub action, GitHub actions. Okay, you can configure GitHub actions workflow. Okay, GitHub action is a continuous. Okay, Okay, now just an action. Run an action which is reusable extension that can simplify your workflow. Reusable, which is okay. You can run a action which is reusable extension that can simplify your workflow. Reusable extension that can simplify your workflow. Reusable extension that can simplify your workflow. I'm not sure. I'm not that much of a techie guy. Like I like to put it that way, but I do a lot of dev work. But so extension which is reusable and can simplify my workflow. So there's no examples that I can map my mind to. So this is new to me, and I can't map something. So I don't know how. Maybe I can comment on how the document should have been written. Of course, if there's a lot of, if I can put it into ChatGPT, it's not that hard. Like I'm new to it. Like maybe after sometimes I might get used to documents and like I might get, I might get good at it, like with the technical terms and all. But currently, when I read something and somebody says like, "Hey, this, you are supposed to understand this, like which is a reusable extension that can simplify your workflow," and I should know what's a workflow first. Okay, I just skip this. So probably they have everything here. Probably they have what's an action. Probably I should have start with this. GitHub action. Okay, again, it's they are telling the same thing. GitHub Action is a continuous integration platform that allows you to automate and build tests. You can create workflows that run tests whenever you push a change to your repository. So workflow is basically a set of steps. Like when I push a PR, run this test. So that is a workflow. That's a test workflow. Change or probably end-to-end test workflow. Or that deployed merge. Okay, this is exactly the same thing they have. I say this is the wrong thing, right? Like you have the same thing like duplicated. Like, can I like go and put a pull request like this is duplicated? You don't have to say the same thing again and again. Are you trying to say that people don't read the quick start like me? Are you just trying to say that? Uh, I really wanted to skip this page because it had this code which name GitHub Actions demo, run name GitHub Actor is testing out GitHub Actions on push jobs, explore GitHub Actions runs on Ubuntu latest steps, run echo the job was automatically triggered by GitHub event name event. Okay, maybe the initialization event echo this job is running at on a runner OS server hosted by GitHub. Okay, that's really cool. Like I can access the OS what actually the GitHub is hosting. Like that's really cool. Echo the name of your branch is GitHub ref, and your repository is GitHub. Checkout name, checkout repository code, actions, checkout version 4. Echo the GitHub repository has been cloned to the runner. The GitHub repository has been cloned to the runner. Echo the workflow is now ready to test on your runner. List files in your repository. Ls GitHub workspace echo this is jobs status is job status. At this stage you don't need to understand the details of this workflow. For now you can just copy and paste the contents into file. After completing this quick start guide you can learn about the syntax of the workflows in workflows. So I hope like they go step by step, right? Like yeah, there is actually, I really don't understand like, so you basically have the so workflow and actions comes here, right? So probably the actions also might come after this, right? Like you have this probably a, I don't know, you have a separate section for workflows. So probably you have get a high level view of digital action workflows including syntax and advanced feature. This is where we explain everything. Probably you explain what's an action, probably, but without a deep understanding of what a workflow is or what maybe the syntax, maybe how can someone actually understand what's actually going on here? So I think maybe like I know like from GitHub and actions, workflows, maybe they mean the same thing. Reusable workflows about custom actions. Custom actions. Okay. Actions are individual tasks that you can combine to create jobs. Actions are individual tasks that you can combine to create jobs and customize your workflow. So now I don't know what's a job, but I know what's an action. It's an individual task. You can create your own actions or use and customize actions shared by GitHub community. So custom community actions. So basically it's a set of individual tasks. But what are those individual tasks? I really don't know. Maybe it could be something like I don't know, like can we go back to the question? Can maybe this is an action, right? This is an action. I'm just trying to learn with you guys, so bear with me. I'm trying to be funny to make things, the most funniest thing about me saying that I'm going to be funny is that I want you to guys to feel happy. That's it. You know, making jokes is hard, and I want you to laugh at your own risk. If you have a light heart, you can laugh at anything, even your boss. Okay, okay. I think we got some sort of understanding of what is an action, right? So it's an individual task. So now we know GitHub Actions, which is basically a GitHub individual task. They could have named like that, but they wanted to name it as actions, like the normal word say, let's say, I ran away. I ran away from the IT industry. That's an action. But is it a GitHub action? How can I refer it? I logged out of my server, which doesn't make sense. Of course, I didn't think about it much, but I started my server. That's a GitHub action. Is it an individual task? That, my friend, I don't know. But I think that's the actual answer. Cool. You can configure GitHub actions. Okay, I think somehow we dived deep into you know, the very hardcore, like there are like millions of, you can see there is exactly, okay, how much of topics there are, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47 topics. And out of it I found out for you guys what is actions from basically this workflow and actions. They had it coming. They didn't have a action topic, but I went here and found what exactly an actions definition is, but not exactly what it is. I think I owe a thumbs up for that. Okay, back to our overview. I guess I was okay. I think I was here. I Each job will run inside its own virtual machine runner or inside a container and has one or more steps, rather either run a script you define or a run action, which is reusable extension that can simplify your workflows. Workflow is a configurable automated process that will run on one or more jobs. Okay. I think what's the job again? Like um, your workflows contain one or more jobs which can run. Okay. Your workflows contains one or more jobs which can run in sequential order in parallel. Each job will run inside its own virtual machine. So what's the job? What's the job? What's action versus ash? Wow. I really don't know. What's a job? What's a job, Tony? What's a job? Okay, I just going to assume job. Ah, okay, job is within a runner, and job is like a job actually. Like, so your job is to like come in the morning, turn off your laptop, go to the VS Code editor, prompt, shut down the laptop. This is your job. Job 2, your marketing job. Come to office, speak with people, go home. That's your job. Did I say whose job is? No, I'm not discriminating against anyone. Like, you need marketing people. Without them, you can't survive because you don't know how to speak. Probably like if you're a programmer like me, probably. Yeah. Uh, okay. So now I have I have a limited idea of what a job is. Like it's within a job I can run action, I can run a script. So now again, action has it's an individual task. If it is one action, it's a one individual task. Run one action, one individual task. Right? Start the server, that's one individual task. Cool. A workflow is a configurable automated process that will run on one or more jobs. Workflows are defined in a YAML file check into your repository and will run when triggered by an event in your repository, or then can be triggered manually or defined at a schedule. Workflows are defined by a YAML file checked into your repository and will run when triggered by an event in your repository, or they can be triggered manually or at a defined schedule. So basically, I can trigger an action like, yeah, probably, yeah, right. Like I've seen things that I can actually trigger, like maybe, yeah. Workflows are defined in the GitHub slash workflows directly in a repository. A repository can have multiple workflows. Okay, each of which can perform a different set of tasks, such as building and testing pull requests, deploying your application every time a release is created, adding a label whenever a new issue is open, adding a label, deploying your application every time a release is created, adding a label whenever a new issue is opened. Okay, I have seen actually like in the open source projects, like you see um, when an issue is created, somehow it gets added the bug card. You might have seen it, or like a third rated issue, something like that. You can add a label. You can reference a workflow within another workflow. Okay, reference a workflow within another workflow. For more information, see reuse workflows. For more information, see writing workflows. So first of all, you have to see what's writing workflows before you can reuse a workflow. Events. An event is a specific activity in a repository that triggers a workflow run. For example, an activity can originate a GitHub when someone creates a pull request, opens an issue, or pushes a commit to a repository. You can also trigger a workflow to run a schedule. You can trigger a workflow schedule by posting to a REST API or manually. Okay, schedule is basically like I can trigger a schedule like when I pull push a request after 10 minutes, after 1 hour, cancel the pull request, revert it back, something like that. Cool. I can do that actually with like just show the PM like, hey, you can see it, right? Like, okay, done, bye bye. It's Friday night, and on Monday, like, he comes, nothing, everything has vanished. There's no people, there's no software, everything has vanished. That's how you do it. For a complete list of events that can be used to trigger workflows, see the events that trigger workflows. So you have a complete list of things that you can do, events that trigger workflows. You can do that. Jobs. You have jobs here, you have actions here. I don't know, like, people, do they just write things like they don't order things like they don't like to order like why shouldn't actions comes first, like before giving an introduction which have actions in it, like a word of actions in it, like overview. Okay, you have an overview, you just give me an overview like, hey, these are the things that's going to be in. Okay, that's completely fine. So if I don't know what's in an overview, let's say like I give an overview, and I let's say I'm going to give you an overview of a story. Tragic Goguag has kilometered song reboot. You give me an overview like that, right? You can't understand. But I can't repeat the words. But if you have given me just before this, hey, actions, it's a douchebag. Hey, jobs, it's basically your jobs. Something like that. Like, I mean, I can draw it, but it will take some time. But I really want to draw it. Give me a second. Where is? Can you guys help me with highlighter? Yes. Like it just vanished. Okay. I made to pick something. Yes, confirm. Okay. Please. Please. Oh, that's not highlighter. That's a highlighter. I don't want a highlighter. I want a pen. I had a pen. Oh yeah, it's a page marker. Yes. Yes, finally. Uh okay, highlighter is going to work, but the pen is not. Page mark. Okay, cool. I just want something like this. Shops. Like before the overview, because if you're going to have something, okay, you can have actions. Okay, jobs. Not something simple introduction. Why can't we have that? Like a simple introduction, like because you're going to say something like about jobs in the overview, but people, okay, you guys assume that people already know without reading this. Great, like I get it. Like you guys just assume like, so you have jobs here. That's the first job's coming. Okay, you just assume like jobs is coming here, but you guys just assume like people have already read it, and like then only they came here. Like so, I think there's a workflow here. First, uh, like where is the actions? Where's the first actions? Okay, where's the action? I saw the action. Where's the action? Like, oh yes, here's the action. This is a like exact action, like action. Like first you have to read this. I think I can connect it. I can do this. I can do this. Come on, I can connect this. Yes, please. I want to connect this. Yes. So first, this is the first. First, read this, and you read this. You go. You read this. Then, since you have jobs, where was that? Okay, you have this as well. So you have to first read this, then you have to read this, and then you have to go back and read this. It's like an exercise. Like, I think I understand. You don't have to like read it once. You have to read it like 2 or 3 times. I mean, I'm doing a good job. Like, since you have to read, you eventually have to read 2 or 3 times if you're a beginner. If you so, this is basically for probably not for beginners. Like, beginners can't actually read it. Like, they have to go to a YouTube video to learn about it, and beginners can come here and refer it, right? They can refer. Like eventually they forgot about in this AI world, they forgot about something that they already know, and they are going to come back and read this, which is like 1 out of 1,000 possibilities, right? Whereas beginner coming and reading is like 2,000 of 1 million possibility, which is also a great number to put, right? Yeah, that's all my about my rant. So I'll just quickly read this. I'm going to just skip this. Uh, yes, jobs. Jobs is a set of workflow that is executed in the same runner. Okay, now I see the problem. So if I put runner here, so do you have a yes? So this is, should be like two. Of course, you have workflows here. So workflows came already came. So that can be actually, yeah, really confusing. But I think I get it. Like for a moment, like job is a set of steps in a workflow that is executed in the same runner. But let me go to the runner. Runner is a server that runs your workflows when they are triggered. So it's a server. Runner is a server. You can't name it server because everybody uses the word. So let's call it runner. Now you get the idea. Now you understand what's a virtual machine runner. Instead of calling it a server, people decided to call GitHub decided it to call it a runner because it runs thing. Okay. Then in the definition you tell a runner is a server that runs your workflows then when they are triggered. Cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. Actually, you need like 1.5 hours to read this documentation just to understand the GitHub actions. Like, I think people are like, if somebody is doing a YouTube video on this, like they are actually doing a great job because they are not like they are not reading the documentation. Like they're not going through this wonderful brain. I think this is a good exercise for you guys. Like really, it's really a good exercise. Okay, where was I? So job is a set of steps in a workflow that is executed on the same runner, same server. Each step is either a shell script that will be executed or an action that will be run. Each step job is a set of steps in a workflow that is executed on the same server. A set of steps in a workflow that is executed on the same server. A set of steps. Each step is either in a shell script that will be executed or an action that will be run. Actions that will be run. So, what is an action? An action is a custom application for GitHub Actions platform that performs a complex but frequently repeated task. An action is a custom application for GitHub Actions, custom application for a GitHub Actions platform that performs a complex but frequently repeated task. So action is basically some automation, right? Actions is automations for a complex task. That's basically it. Either each step is either a shell script that will be executed or an action that will be run. Steps are executed in order. Steps are executed in order and are independent on each other. Since each step is executed on the same runner, you can share data from one step to another. Since each step is executed on the same runner, you can share data from one step. Okay. Since each step is executed on the same runner, you can share data from one step to another. Since each step is executed on the same runner, you can share. Since each step is executed on the same runner, same service, you can share data from one step to another service, another step. Basically, within a job, you have steps to steps. You can actually share data. That's basically what they're saying. For example, you can have steps that builds your applications, followed by a step that tests the applications that was built. So you can build your application, and then you can have a step to test your application. You can configure a jobs dependencies with other jobs. You can configure jobs dependencies with other jobs. By default, jobs have no dependencies and run in parallel. You can configure a jobs dependency with other jobs. By default, jobs have no dependencies and run in parallel. So you have multiple jobs, they run in parallel. When a job takes a dependency on another job, when a job takes a dependency on another job, it waits for the dependent job to complete before running. So there might be a possibility for a deadlock. It waits for the other one. So both are dependent on it. You know what will happen. You can configure jobs dependency with other jobs by default. Jobs are okay, I just read it. You can also have use a matrix to run the same jobs multiple times, but with a different combination of variables like operating systems or language versions. For example, you might configure multiple jobs for different architectures without any job dependencies and a packaging job that depends on those builds. The build jobs run in parallel, and once they complete successfully, the packaging job runs. For more information, see choosing what your workflow does. Okay, cool. Cool, now you understand what a job is. Basically, you might not. Probably. I think you might have to go through it alone by yourself for in order to understand. But I gave you the first round. First round is on me. An action is a custom application for GitHub Actions platform that performs a complex but frequently repeated task. Use an action to help reduce the amount of repetitive code that you write in your workflow files. An action can pull your GitHub repository from GitHub. An action can pull your GitHub repository from GitHub, set up the correct toolchain for your build environment, or set up the authentication to your cloud provider, You can write your own actions, or you can find actions to use in your workflows in the GitHub marketplace. You can write your own GitHub actions. Okay, you can write your own GitHub actions, or you can find actions to use in your workflows in GitHub marketplace. You can write your own GitHub actions, or you can find actions to use in your workflows, or you can find actions to use in your workflows in GitHub marketplace. In the GitHub marketplace, there's a marketplace for GitHub. I didn't really know that. I actually didn't know there's a marketplace for GitHub. GitHub surprises me because I didn't know anything beyond GitHub having Git. Like, you push code in GitHub. That's all I know. Like, I'm so newbie. I'm so noob. Okay. Runner is a server that runs your workflows when they are triggered. A runner is a server that runs your workflows when they're triggered. Each runner can run a single job at a time. A runner is a server that runs, okay, a server runner runs when they're triggered. Each runner can run a single job at a time. Each runner can run a single job at a time. So that does mean, like, when I say like each runner can run a, can only run a means run a, like, so basically this means it can run multiple jobs, right? Like, I think so. GitHub provides Ubuntu, Linux, Microsoft runners to run your workflows. Each workflow run executes. Each workflow run execute. Okay, workflow run. Okay, workflow run runners executes in a fresh, newly provisioned virtual machine. GitHub also offers large runners, which are available in larger configuration. For more information, using large runners. If you need a different operating system or require a specific hardware configuration, you can host your own runners. For more information about self-hosted runners, see hosting your runners. So basically, you can have Azure, something like that, to run your own thing. GitHub Actions can help you automate nearly every aspect of the application development processes. Okay, every aspect. Cool. Then I actually came to the next step. I'm feeling really proud of me. Yeah. Ready to get started? Here are some helpful resources for taking your next steps with the GitHub Actions. To create a GitHub Actions, see the using the data, your continuous workflow. See, I'm just going to skip this. So I think you guys understood this. Just give it a go. Like, just read through it again. Like, if you don't understand why, there are like 9 million jobs out there. Peace out.